Hello, everybody. Welcome to TOS Sport, your daily fix for cricket, Indian cricket, and all that, right here on TOS Sports daily show called Beyond the Boundary. And today, to talk about Champions Trophy semi-final 2, we've got three important guests joining us. We've got Avijit Da joining us from New Delhi. Then we've got Dwaipen Datta joining us from his usual hangout from Chennai. And lastly, we've got Gaurav Gupta joining us from Dubai. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for joining. A semi-final is in progress right now in Lahore, the second semi-final. Remember, India beat Australia last night by 4 wickets, and they have made it to the final to be played on Sunday. And that final will now be in Dubai. And now the second semi-final is in progress in Lahore. And this semi-final, right now, New Zealand seems to have the upper hand, having made 362 for 6 in their 50 overs. Two centuries from Rachin Ravindra and Kane Williamson. First question to you, Avijit Da. Is this total enough for New Zealand to once again book their flight to Dubai?
In cricket, anything can happen. But I think if New Zealand से पहले पूछा जाता कि would you take 362, they would have gladly taken it. I think this is probably the best that they have played in the tournament. Perfectly paced innings, everybody did his job. 200s, दो लोगों ने बढ़िया एंकरिंग करके बिल्कुल प्लेटफॉर्म सेटअप किया और उसके बाद two almost 50s, 249s by Glenn Phillips and Daryl Mitchell. So, 362 is quite a mountain to climb. And South Africa, usually, the two matches that they had won in the group stage, they relied primarily on their bowlers. Bowlers put up a very good performance. First, उन्होंने हराया था इंग्लैंड को, तो उसमें 7 विकेट से जीते थे उन्होंने. जॉनसन ने आके पूरा उनका वो टॉप ऑर्डर उड़ा दिया था. Then Afghanistan में they batted first and put up a decent total, and second innings में रबाडा bowled very, मतलब जब रिप्लाई की अफगानिस्तान ने तो रबाडा ने बहुत अच्छी बॉलिंग की. आज के मैच में साउथ अफ्रीका's बॉलिंग वाज टोटली ऑफ कलर एंड मुझे इस इनिंग से थोड़ा बहुत वो इंडिया का जो बॉलिंग था ना वो 2003 वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल में, where they started off well, nervously, a little all over the place, and probably South Africa was a little unlucky also. Quite a few edges, mishits and all that, a couple of catches were dropped, but overall New Zealand in the driver's seat.
Dwaipen, do you agree with Avijit Da that New Zealand appears to be in the driver's seat? 362 is a pretty big target even in this day and age of T20 and T10 cricket.
Yes, definitely, because South Africa, as we know, historically are bad chasers also. Like they love setting targets, but whenever it comes to chases, they kind of falter. So 362 is quite a target to chase, even if the pitch looks flat and Lahore can be a bit of a belter. But having said that, like this New Zealand team is very balanced on all fronts. Like this is the team that can probably run India close. Like they almost did in that match, and this is a good side, rounded side, good batsmen. These guys know how to play spin. Like it's a good side, and I hope New Zealand wins so that we have a good final at hand. Because if it's South Africa on a Dubai Turner, it will be an extremely one-sided final.
Gaurav, you're right there in the thick of action in Dubai. A good win for India. We'll talk about it later in the show. But first, let's focus on this New Zealand-South Africa semi-final. This pitch appears to be, like one of our fans says, appears to be a road, as in like it's a belter of a pitch for the batters. Do you also see that from your vantage point in Dubai?
Well, the pitches in Lahore and generally the pitches in Pakistan have been pretty flat. I thought the Rawalpindi wicket still, offered some help to the bowlers. And New Zealand, I think, had restricted Bangladesh to 236 for 9 there. But other than that, the Lahore pitch, I mean, was it at Lahore that Australia chased down 352 against
Yeah.
England? So if the same this thing, then generally the wickets in Pakistan, and I mean even in the Tri Series before the Champions Trophy, we saw quite a few big scores being chased, big scores being made. So I mean, Pakistan has had an issue with their wickets. Even in the Test matches, उनके जो wickets हैं वो बहुत flat रहे हैं. और पांच दिन पूरा टेस्ट मैच चलता है एंड अल्टीमेटली फिफ्थ डे लास्ट सेशन जाके मैच डिसाइड होता है व्हिच हैज मेड फॉर सम एक्साइटिंग क्रिकेट एट टाइम्स बट आल्सो अ लॉट ऑफ ड्रैप क्रिकेट बिकॉज ज्यादातर टाइम ये लगता है कि मैच ड्रॉ हो रहा है और बहुत हाई स्कोरिंग मैच हो रहा है यू नो सो पाकिस्तान हैज गॉट अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम विद इट्स विकेट्स अब ये सिक्योरिटी वगैरह वो सब मामला तो सुलझ गया वहां पर बट आई थिंक दिस विकेट्स थिंग दे नीड टू I don't know whether they need, as Ramiz Raza, the ex-PCB chairman and commentator, was trying for drop-in pitches. Maybe the time has come for the PCB to invest in that kind of a thing because बहुत ज्यादा flat wickets होते हैं, bowlers को help नहीं होता है. आज कल रात को प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में स्टीव स्मिथ भी कह रहे थे कि लाहौर का विकेट जो है शायद वो वर्ल्ड का बेस्ट बैटिंग विकेट है यू नो तो इस तरह से अब खैर लेकिन अब ये वनडेज में जिस तरह के रूल्स बन गए विद 2 new balls एंड ऑल दैट्स व्हाई मोहम्मद शमी ने लास्ट नाइट हमको बोला मिक्स मीडिया जोन में कि आप प्लीज सराइवा वापस ले आइए रिवर्स स्विंग इनेबल करने के लिए क्योंकि ये कंडीशंस भी वनडेज में बहुत फेवरेबल हो गए बैटर्स के लिए and I think that is also contributing to these big scores and we saw similarly big scores in the ODI World Cup in India as well in 23 so I guess T20 cricket has also changed that and the fact that two balls are being used from each end.
Avijit, looking at the bowling performance of South Africa, they have Marco Jansen, Lungi, and Gideon Kagiso Rabada, all three going for more than 70 runs in their 10-over spell. That's where I think the engine room where they leaked a lot of runs, and then Keshav Maharaj also went for plenty. Is that a cause for concern at all for South Africa? Because this is their number one bowling option attack. Anrich Norke and Gerald Coetzee were always going to be the additional performers in this bowling lineup. This is their main bowling lineup, and they've gone for plenty of runs here.
No, South Africa did not bowl at their best. That is true. But two things I'd like to say. One is, Rachin Ravindra took a lot of risks, against Keshav Maharaj. He constantly stepped out and his aggression paid off today. And then Kane Williamson today was, he showed he's world's finest manipulator of the ball with the bat. उसने ऐसे ऐसे जगह में he managed to place his shots. ये एक मतलब बॉलिंग अपनी जगह पे थी लेकिन बहुत ही उत्तम बल्लेबाजी की न्यूजीलैंड के बल्लेबाजों ने और एक जो जहां तक जवाब का बात है साउथ अफ्रीका का whether they will be able to chase 362 or not, a lot would depend on two batsmen at the top and two batsmen in the middle. रैन रिकल्टन और वैन डर दसन जो है ये दो इनका बहुत अच्छा स्ट्राइक रेट है दोनों लंबी इनिंग्स भी खेलते हैं और देयर इज अ काइंड ऑफ टेक्निकली अकम्प्लिश्ड है और इस तरह की सिचुएशन में इफ दे प्ले अ लॉन्ग इनिंग्स then that is very important. And then they have Klaasen at number 5, who is probably world's finest enforcer at the moment. And you also have Miller. So वो भी एक तरह से जो मतलब ये लोग अगर शुरू के अगर जो 3 बैट्समैन है बबूमा हैज स्ट्राइक रेट इश्यूज बट ये शुरू के 3 बैट्समैन अगर 200 तक खींचते हैं तो नीचे के जो बैट्समैन है they can probably make it a tight affair. But still, New Zealand does remain in the driver's seat because, as Dwaipan also pointed out, that South Africa are not great chasers.
Dwaipan, looking at the batting performance of New Zealand, they had Rachin Ravindra and Kane Williamson scoring hundreds, and then Daryl Mitchell and Glenn Phillips scoring 49. Two batters making 49. That partnership of Ravindra and Kane Williamson, that really knocked the stuffing out of South Africa, didn't it?
Yes, it absolutely did. And the thing about like what Avijita was also discussing about this Kane Williamson's innings, let's go back to that innings he played against India on that pitch, which had quite a bit of help for the spinners. It's not a rank turner, but quite a bit of help. There, the way he was playing Jadeja, giving room outside the leg stump and playing it over extra cover, like that was unbelievable batting. Those 81 runs was it was like 150 on any other track. Like it was incredible batting, and he just carried on with that. He's just playing magnificently right now. Like uh, his technique, the way he plays spins, like there's some, and Rachin also. Rachin, we saw what Rachin could do in that India series, uh, uh, which they won 3-0. So these two guys are really high on confidence, and they play spin so well. Like as I said, like I really hope they go on to win this match, because then these four spinners of India versus these batters, then it becomes a contest, then it becomes fun, then it becomes a fun watch. Of course, not for the may not be for the faint hearted or the, like, but if we are a neutral, if you love cricket, if you love a competitive final, I think you just hope that New Zealand wins this one.
So, Dwepen, on Sunday, are you a neutral who loves the game, or you're an Indian fan on Sunday?
I am a neutral. I am a neutral.
Oh. There you spot one more person, much like Gaurav the other day. Gaurav, looking at the effort of the New Zealand batters, the, if they were to win this final, they will fly back to Dubai, if at all, riding high on confidence, because this is a pretty strong effort by their batting lineup.
आई थिंक भारत के लिए बहुत सरदर्दी की बात है कि जिस चीज का डर था वो हो रहा है, और न्यूजीलैंड ही धीरे धीरे इंच कर रहा है टुवर्ड्स द फाइनल विद द काइंड ऑफ स्कोर दैट दे मेड, बिकॉज उन लोग का बैटिंग लाइनअप बहुत स्ट्रांग है, यू नो, डेप्थ भी बहुत है. माइकल ब्रेसवेल आई थिंक नंबर 7 पे आते हैं, नंबर 6 पे फिलिप्स हैं, लेदम इज अ गुड प्लेयर ऑफ स्पिन, डैरिल मिचेल इज हैज गॉट 200 अगेंस्ट इंडिया इन द 23 वर्ल्ड कप. दोनों बहुत बढ़िया नॉक्स थे. एक वाला जो उनका 100 था वो तो ऑलमोस्ट मैच जिता के दिया उन्होंने. इवन वो सेमीफाइनल जो वानखेड़े में था, ही वाज बैटिंग ब्यूटीफुली अलोंग विद केन विलियमसन. केन विलियमसन तो है ही खैर क्लास प्लेयर. तो आई मीन आई थिंक दैट डे इंडिया एस्केप टू विक्ट्री प्योरली बिकॉज ऑफ वरुण. You know, India, I mean, scampered to victory because Varun was absolutely unplayable. And I think again, अगर न्यूजीलैंड फाइनल में आता है, या चाहे वो साउथ अफ्रीका ही हो, कोई अगर अचंबा हो गया तो मुझे लगता है वरुण का बहुत बड़ा रोल रहेगा उसमें फिर, because you know, New Zealand were completely unable to decipher him. And Varun was also in the bowling form of his life. जिस तरह से वो हर एक बॉल डाल रहे हैं इस समय, वो एक सवाल पूछ रहे हैं बैट्समैन को. तो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत टफ फाइनल रहेगा इंडिया का न्यूजीलैंड के साथ में, क्योंकि उनकी बॉलिंग भी कम नहीं है और हमारी बैटिंग सब कुछ बढ़िया चल रहा है. आई जस्ट होप कि एक ऐसा दिन आए जहां कैपिटुलेशन, कलेक्टिव कैपिटुलेशन, यू नो, हो जाए, कलेक्टिव कोलैप्स हो जाए. अदरवाइज, you know, I think Virat has been the glue around which the team has batted, and obviously KL Rahul has been absolutely smooth and brilliant. And you know, but obviously this is not a pitch जहां पर कि 300 रन अगर बना दिया न्यूजीलैंड ने, इससे अगर 70% भी टोटल बना दिया, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि यहाँ की पिच पे इस तरह का टोटल चेज हो पाएगा. या अगर पहले सेकंड बैटिंग करके भी न्यूजीलैंड इस तरह से बैटिंग करती है, तो देन आई रियली fear for India.
Avijita, just picking on the point that Gaurav made, going to that semi-final last night, India Australia. Did you at any point during the chase feel that maybe it was getting a little too close for comfort because of the number of dot balls that Hardik and KL were playing from time to time?
See, I don't watch the game when India is involved from a position of neutral. मैं हमेशा बड़ा पैशनेटली इंडिया के जीतने के हिसाब से खेल को देखता हूँ. तो मुझे पहले बॉल से ही लग रहा था कि हमेशा जिस टीम से आप ज्यादा प्यार करते हैं, आपको हमेशा लगता है कि वो टीम कहीं हार ना जाए. हाँ, तो मुझे तो थ्रू आउट ऐसा लग रहा था कि मैच टफ है. लेकिन यू नो, ऐसा जब भी ऐसा सिचुएशन आया, जब लग रहा कि मैच फंसने वाला है, उसी समय किसी ने आके उस मैच को एक डिफरेंट लेवल पे वो ले गए. जैसे दो इंपॉर्टेंट नॉक्स थे जिसके बारे में हमने कम चर्चा की. वन वाज द रोल प्लेड बाय अक्षर पटेल एंड द अदर बाय पांड्या. इन दोनों ने रिस्की शॉट्स मारे, जिसके कारण जो जो रेगुलर एंकरिंग कर रहे थे उनका काम आसान हो गया। तो राहुल ने लास्ट में आके छक्का मारा व्हेन द गेम वाज डिसाइडेड। इसके पहले भी उन्होंने एक मारा था, लेकिन जो डिफिकल्ट शॉट्स थे ना, जो विच इफ दे हैड गॉन रॉन्ग देन वी वुड हैव क्वेश्चन दोस क्रिकेटर्स। तो वो डिफिकल्ट शॉट्स पांड्या ने मारे, और आई थिंक हिज 2 sixes अगेंस्ट जाम्पा दैट टुक द मैच टोटली अवे फ्रॉम अस। लेट अस नॉट फॉरगेट वन थिंग कि इसके बाद सिर्फ अगर अगर उसमें पांड्या आउट हो जाते तो फिर जडेजा थे। जडेजा 30-35 रन के आसपास, वो फिर एक टाइट मामला हो जाता है। वही वही सारे शॉट्स जो आप मार सकते हो वो बैट फिर चलता नहीं है, और उसके बाद फिर हमारे 3 टेल एंडर्स हैं। तो आई वॉज अ लिटिल टेंस, पर मुझे लगता है कि अधिकतर लोग टेंस ही रहे होंगे। वो 2-3 छक्के जब लगे ना तो फिर वो हम निकल गए। मैच निकलने के बाद नहीं लगता कि टेंस है, पर जब देखते हो तो उस समय टेंशन रहता है।
अभिजीत, मैं और आप मतलब देशभक्त है, हमारे साथ 2 और लोग हैं, द्वैपायन और गौरव, जो देशभक्ति साइड पे रख के मैच देखते हैं। द्वैपायन, यू हर्ड Avijit da, did you also feel that?
नहीं, आई वुड से सी द्वैपायन भी देशभक्त हैं। वो स्पोर्ट्स और देशभक्ति जो है वो अलग चीज है। स्पोर्ट्स का एक मतलब, स्पोर्ट्स का एक नेचुरल इनबिल्ट होता है कि कुछ आदमी बिल्कुल जुड़ के देखता है, कुछ डिस्पैशनेटली देख लेता है। मेरे लिए ये फिजिकली असंभव है कि मैं मैं चहलकदमी करने भी लग जाता हूँ कई बार। सो द्वैपायन जो है मेरे ख्याल से वो भी एक लेवल पे इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, उनका भी अच्छा खासा इन्वॉल्वमेंट होगा। वेदर इज सेइंग ये न्यूट्रल है कि नहीं, मुझे उस बात पे 100% भरोसा नहीं है।
Dwaypan, all the eyes are on you right now, so please reply. The nation wants to know.
I have tried to train myself to be neutral. Otherwise, like writing sometimes becomes like otherwise I think you tend to get slightly clouded if you are like because we are in this profession. So if you becomes a more of a supporter than a reporter, then you kind of at times there is the chance of your judgment getting slightly clouded. So I try to be a neutral. That is what it is. So that is how I've tried to train myself. uh, and coming back to whether it was tight or not, whether it was getting tight or not, when the first 2 wickets fell early, I thought if there was another, if Virat had got out at that point of time, then it would have got tighter. But the thing is, the spin attack of Australia, barring Zampa, like they lacked the depth in the spin attack, and on that pitch, it is very important. It that in Dubai, it has to be one with spin. There is no other way. And in that department, s- bowl, spin bowling and playing spin on both counts, India was ahead of Australia, and that kind of showed. Like when it was that 60 balls, 70 runs, that kind of an equation with 6 wickets in hand, I was seeing in office that people getting worried, but I was quite certain that India will win because India does. One great thing about this Indian team is that India does not lose from winning positions. India loses, they do lose, but they don't lose from a winning position. I have not seen them losing from a winning position in a very long time. That shows they're a very sound side. They may lose playing badly on a day, or somebody like beating them properly, but they don't lose the way South Africa lost the T20 final. That is the difference between India and some of the other teams.
Gaurav, in the press box, was there a feeling that it was getting too close for comfort? Gaurav, you're on mute. No, we can't. I can't. We can't hear you. You're not audible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, now we can.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, I was saying that our travel plans, my travel plans at least were at sixes and sevens, and a lot of people in the press box they were sort of wondering कि दुबई कब से कब निकलना है. I was initially when India's wickets fell, initially I thought that चलो अब तो six को निकल जाएंगे यहाँ से, and हो गया दुबई में stay और all that, and then suddenly that partnership happened, and then that flourish at the end. So it kept sort of going back and forth. और बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग था because a lot of reporters have come from Pakistan also had come for this match, to cover this match, this being the first semi-final of the Champions Trophy. So सब लोगों के travel plans बहुत this whole tournament has been about travel plans being sort of going back and forth, including the teams. I mean, South Africa and Australia, they came all the way to Dubai and did a training session as well, without knowing whether they're going to play a match here or not. So that way is बहुत ही strange tournament रहा. And yesterday was also like the joke was that अच्छा अब मैं निकल रहा हूँ, अच्छा okay, see you guys, and then oh no, we're still here in it together for a few more days. So like that, but I think एक point के बाद में people were pretty confident that India is going to pull through. And I remember Ramiz Raza commentary जो यहाँ commentary के लिए है, तो उन्होंने first half के बाद बोला था कि on this wicket easily India should chase down 265. With the kind of batting lineup that we have, and his words proved to be absolutely true. Obviously, he knows the wicket here and the conditions and the Indian batting lineup, and generally his cricket punditry is at a level where he gets these things right. It was quite interesting actually in the press box yesterday with all these discussions going around about travel plans being, and then immediately everybody calling up their travel agents, those who had sort of not booked their return before for 11th. They had to
Gaurav,
like people like me had to call up their agent and change things and
For you
and
guys,
extend the hotel stay as well.
आपसे एक दो सवाल भी है गौरव, पूछे, उनका जवाब दे दीजिए. कुछ लोग जो
हाँ,
देख रहे हैं.
सवाल पूछ रहे हैं. आपने स्टीव स्मिथ के रिटायरमेंट के बारे में ट्वीट किया था. इंडिया का भी ऐसा कुछ होगा? I'll just add to that because we have somebody on this panel who actually got Rohit Sharma to announce his T20 retirement last year. Will you be following suit and asking Rohit at the end of the tournament on Sunday about his ODI plans? Because you have to keep the TOI flag flying, because one reporter has already asked about the T20 retirement and got the cat out of the bag. So you have to do that on Sunday. Will you be doing that on
Oh, that
Sunday?
was Dwayapan who actually asked that question, is it? Oh,
See, Dwaipan, see,
interesting.
this is teamwork. This is Team India. Team Times of India. He didn't even know that.
No, it's not that. It's not something that you should be knowing. Because
No,
a
it's
relevant
if
question
he
that
did,
had to be
I mean,
asked. I didn't do the
surely,
story.
I didn't know Dwapanda was part of history, and he was so closely involved with Rohit's retirement. But I mean, this is the perfect stage for him actually to go. Really, for Rohit Sharma. I mean, and not just ODI. मैं तो बोलता हूँ कि Test भी, क्योंकि I don't see him traveling to England with the India's Test team. I think this is the perfect time for him to call it a day. The India, his as a captain, he's on a high. The team is on a high. और ये एक बिल्कुल मुझे लगता है कि बेवकूफी होगी अगर वो 27 वर्ल्ड कप तक इस बात को स्ट्रेच करेंगे अपने करियर को कि भाई 200 साल खेलना है मुझे और 27 का वर्ल्ड कप भी खेलना है. आई थिंक इट विल बी जस्ट टेकिंग इट टू फार. His lost shape, fitness wise he's not the same, batting wise भी वो अच्छा खेल रहे हैं, लेकिन he's just being able to give good starts and then he gets out. It's not like वो रोहित शर्मा अब ये नहीं रहे जो कि एक पूरा मतलब एक डबल 100 भी इजीली मार देते थे बिना थकावट फील किए. So I think this is I mean with Virat, the question is still out in the open because वो नहीं retire होना चाहते हैं, and he's obviously found his form again. But again, England I see him struggling very badly. But खैर वो बात की बात है. फिलहाल तो यहाँ flat tracks पे वो अच्छे रन बना रहे हैं और खूब मतलब वाई उनको मिल रही है जो justifiable भी है. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि ये दोनों में से एक के लिए परफेक्ट स्टेज है. अगर ये ऑस्ट्रेलियन सिलेक्टर्स होते तो शायद दोनों से अभी तक बात कर ली होती और आपको दोनों का रिटायरमेंट जैसे स्टीव स्मिथ का आया है रिटायरमेंट मेल फ्रॉम क्रिकेट ऑस्ट्रेलिया उस तरह से आ जाता है, लेकिन ये हमारा बीसीसीआई है. बट या द ब्यूटी अबाउट स्टीव स्मिथ्स रिटायरमेंट email from cricket australia was that it did not contain any statement from the treasurer, joint secretary or anybody, but statements from Steve Smith himself and the chief selector and the
Gaurav, sorry to cut you. They don't have archaic positions like treasurer, joint secretary. It's It's run like a company. Go ahead.
Yeah, so matlab, coming back to Steve Smith's this thing, and can we should celebrate Steve Smith's retirement, by the way, and the fact that he was such a prolific one-day player as well. Apart from 36 टेस्ट हंड्रेड्स हैं देखिए उनके, और मुझे लगता है ये मूव से अब वो 50 टेस्ट हंड्रेड्स की तरफ एम कर सकते हैं. He still has a lot to offer, and I think look how beautifully he has timed his ODI retirement. I love the way these guys are so planned about their career. And then yesterday also his knock was good. And he expressed regret कि वो full toss पे bold हो गए मोहम्मद शमी की, वरना ऑस्ट्रेलिया were looking at a target of 325, especially heads जिस तरह से शुरू में बैटिंग कर रहे थे, और ट्रैविस हेड और लाबुशेन और the others the way they were playing. But स्टीव स्मिथ ने इंडिया को बहुत तंग किया, इंडिया के नेमेसिस रहे हैं वो. आज मैंने ये लिखा है कि मतलब आई थिंक अराउंड 500 उनके इंडिया के ओडीआई हंड्रेड्स इंडिया के अगेंस्ट रहे हैं, एंड एट वेरियस पॉइंट्स. वन ऑफ कोर्स वाज द फेमस 100 जो शायद द्वैपायन ने ग्राउंड पे थे जब उन्होंने वो कड़क 100 मारा था 93 बॉल्स में 105 आई थिंक एट द सिडनी क्रिकेट ग्राउंड. आई थिंक वो हमको बता सकते हैं कि कितना खतरनाक नॉक था वो. आई थिंक उमेश यादव को उन्होंने 3 चौके मारे और वहां से वो शुरू किया उन्होंने अपना जो कत्लेआम है, और काफी इनिंग्स उनके बहुत बढ़िया रहे इंडिया के अगेंस्ट.
Okay, sorry, we just have to cut it short because South Africa's reply is just about started. The first delivery has just been pulled in the South Africa chase. One final round of question to all three of you, starting with you, Abhijita. Can South Africa chase it down, or is it going to be India-New Zealand final on Sunday?
It will be India-New Zealand final on Sunday, and the interesting thing will be that on Sunday, India will face an opponent which has already played in Dubai for the first time.
Interesting. Dwaipan, what's your take?
India New Zealand final, yeah.
And finally, last word with you, Gaurav. Since you want Rohit to retire on Sunday, what's it going to be on Sunday?
ऑन संडे तो मालूम नहीं, साउथ अफ्रीका को ऐसा डिस्काउंट वो काउंट आउट मत करो यार, ये फ्लैट विकेट है और साउथ अफ्रीका का भी अटैकिंग लाइनअप है, तो एनीथिंग इज पॉसिबल इन क्रिकेट, वी नेवर नो. बट या मोस्टली लुक्स लाइक इंडिया न्यूजीलैंड फाइनल. एंड ये मत भूलिए कि 2000 इन द ईयर 2000 आई थिंक लास्ट इंडिया न्यूजीलैंड फाइनल हुआ था. इज दैट द ओनली इंडिया वर्सेस न्यूजीलैंड फाइनल एट एन आईसीसी इवेंट?
Yes,
आई थिंक
that's
इट इज. या सो एंड न्यूजीलैंड ने हरा दिया था इंडिया को मेरे ख्याल से, शायद क्रिस केन्स जो बाद में मैच फिक्सिंग के लिए पकड़े गए, उन्होंने बहुत बुरी तरह धोया था हमारी बॉलिंग को, इफ आई रिमेम्बर करेक्टली. सो या
बहुत अच्छा मैच था वो, 260 के आसपास था उन्होंने हमने बनाए थे, और वो फिर एक सिचुएशन में 163 फॉर 5 के आसपास था, एंड देन उसके बाद फिर कोई विकेट गिरा ही नहीं. आई थिंक क्रिस केन्स प्लेड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इनिंग्स ऑफ हिज लाइफ.
Absolutely. So चलिए आज that's it for today. We've got 2 Patriots and 2 not so Patriots on the show today. We will be joining again tomorrow to review this semi-final and looking ahead to the final. And thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining us today. And to all those watching us, please remember to like us, share us, subscribe us on all the platforms that you are watching us, and especially on YouTube. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the notification bell. Till tomorrow, take good care of yourself. Good night, goodbye, and God bless.